Awesome, thank you. So last night, I know you guys are going to be really jealous, but I just spent the last 3 days at the, nice to see you, Neil, at the Elder Law and Estate Planning Marketing Conference. Are you guys like, whoa, I wish I was there with you? Yeah, right, thrilling. So I spent 3 days in Orlando, Florida. Part of what I'm doing, I'm buying law firms right now, and so, but I'm not an attorney, so I need to learn. So I was there to learn, meet vendors, meet possible acquisition targets. It was really a great use of time. So I responsibly got to the airport last night early. It was wonderful. I was sitting at the gate, and my business partner on this particular project, she wanted to know what I'd learned. And it was a very sensitive question, such that I actually allowed myself to get so into it that I missed my flight. Ah, wonderful. So we've got a fork in the road. What are we going to do, right? And well, my first reaction is to be pissed, let's be honest. And I'm like walking to the Southwest agent, and I look at her, I'm like, I know that door probably just clicked like 18 seconds ago. Like we can still hear the click echoing in the room. We all know you could open this door and let me in. We both know that. That's kind of the tone. I don't remember the exact words, but that's kind of the tone I had, like indignant, a little superior, kind of gross, right? Not that I would ever do that, right? And then something came over me, and I went, there's probably something bigger at play here, in me and out there. Thank the woman. She's not charging you $180 to buy a new flight after you missed the one that you were supposed to be on because you decided to get too focused on your conversation about business. What a generous gift on behalf of Southwest Airlines. So as I am receiving my new flight, which was no longer 6:30 p.m., it was 10:20 p.m., and I'm thinking, I got to be ready for you guys today, and I want to bring my best because, I mean, you could be anywhere in Austin, Texas today, but for some crazy reason you decided to be here with me and Hilda and everyone here. Thank you, everyone, for making the choice to be here today. So as I turn around with my new little boarding pass, there's someone from the conference who's like right there. And it's someone who I'd kind of seen, there's about 150 people at this conference. We'd kind of like been passing, but we actually hadn't stopped to say, I didn't even know her name. No hellos, certainly no kind of substantive conversation. And she had the same situation happen, but she was at the wrong gate. That she was there like 45 minutes early, wrong gate, missed the flight. Now she's got to get a new flight too. And instantly hits me, maybe this is why I'm supposed to be missing this flight when otherwise everything should have worked out. So I turned to her after she gets her boarding pass and I say, you were at the conference, right? She says, yeah. You were too, right? Yeah. I said, why don't we go grab dinner? So as we're thinking about dinner, I'm like, oh wait, we could go do a lounge. So we go sit in a lounge and we're having like a really like relaxed, unlimited food, unlimited drink type situation. I'm like, this is a great missed flight, right? And it turns out that she is actually an expert in the exact area that I need help the most with in my law firm roll-up, my acquisition of law firms. And then we get a text message, your flight has been delayed from 10:20 to 12:30 a.m. So we sit down. I've learned a ton about AI agents. That's something she doesn't know. So she's an expert at all things operations in law firms. I'm quite good at AI and agents and being able to replace low-level tasks with it. So now I'm sitting down and teaching her what I know. And we're running through scenarios, and she's like, oh, well, if this is possible, then is that possible? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, we could probably launch a business on the spot just with what she knows about law firm ops and what I know about AI agents. We literally could. We could probably launch, no kidding, a 6-figure business in like 30 days just off selling those ideas. So then the magic moment comes, we're allowed to get on the plane. But now we have a new sinking feeling because as we get close to the gate, there's like only 6 people. We're like, did we just miss another flight? Oh my word, what is going on? And it's like 3 minutes now to boarding and still only 6 people there. And we're just like, what is going on? So the Southwest lady gets on the microphone and she says, well, we could do this the normal way, but there's actually only 6 of you on this flight. There is literally more staff between pilots, stewardesses, and stewards, or flight attendants, or whatever the word is. There's more of them than us. I literally flew private last night. And like the staff is coming, and they're just like, do you want more drinks? Do you want more snacks? Because they got nothing else to do. And they're like sitting, like chatting, like we're having the best time. And so for 6 hours, I sat with someone who's this incredible expert in the field where I needed the most help, completely unscripted. And as far as I know, she's not sending me a bill today, right? So I think that at every single moment in our lives, we have an opportunity to say, which path am I going? And far too often in my life, I don't recognize that I have that path. Today, I'm going to share a very interesting philosophical framework. If anyone's ever heard of the Bhagavad Gita, it's heavily from there, okay, from India. And I have just found over and over and over again that when I can remember, or let's say I do remember that I have that choice, it has just unlocked so much more happiness, ease, freedom, and sometimes in ever more difficult situations. For most of us, I don't know for sure, but this is maybe some of the easiest our life will ever be. We are the youngest we will ever be right now, and right now, and right now. And there's a good chance that as time goes on, things may get tougher with our parents if we still have them. We might lose them. In fact, we know we're going to lose them if we don't go first. I mean, this could be the easiest that life ever is. It could be. And I understand some of us are dealing with some great difficulty right now. So knowing that not everything is guaranteed and we are in a spot where our reaction matters more than ever, especially as the volume gets turned up on geopolitics and social media and outrage in social media and all the rest, like we're being pushed ever more, I think, to be at choice about which of the ways we're going to react, okay? I'm going to do just a very brief recap from something we talked about last month. So for those of you who were here, I won't spend as much time on it. We can draw kind of a line like this, and we can basically say above this line is everything that will be crushed by time. Crushed by time. I'm sorry, not crushed by time, and then crushed by time. Okay, so who'd like to give me some examples of what's crushed by time? And I think broadly, not a year, think in 100 years, 1,000 years, 100,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000,000 years. What's crushed by time?
Sometimes your kids.
Your kids? Your kids and you. It would require both to be around. So yeah, our bodies, okay? Our bodies are crushed by time. What else?
Environment.
Yeah. Do you want to even say like the planet? Yeah, the planet. Given enough trillions or billions of years, this planet will be gone. I'm confident in saying that, and I'm not even like a geophysicist or anything, okay?
Relationships.
Relationships, yeah. Could you unpack that just a little bit? Which relationships?
With anything, with you, with family, with
Okay.
friends.
Okay, so with people, got it. Sorry, my writing is already not good, but now I'm at a weird angle. It's going to be very difficult to read. Okay, let's get one or two more. What else is crushed by time?
Every idea you had.
I'm sorry?
Like every idea, every thought.
Ideas? Sure. Sure. I'll roll with that. There's like maybe a counter argument to that we may talk about later, but let's roll with it. Yeah.
Businesses,
Businesses, crushed by time. Yeah. Let's put biz. Technology.
If your money's not working for you, it can crush you too.
So money is crushed by time?
Can be.
Okay. Okay.
inflation.
Did you know that the US dollar didn't exist when the planet was created? Do you think the US dollar will exist in 500 trillion years from now? Probably not. Right? Okay, let's get one more example.
Things, items, like
Objects? All objects? Yeah.
materialistic stuff.
Okay. Amazing. Opportunities? I would say 99.99999% of opportunities. Yeah. Okay. I'll also add this country, this city, your family, as achy as it is, your favorite dog, your favorite cat. I know. I get crushed thinking about my mom dying one day. Like I get teary every single time I think about it. There's no question. What is not crushed by time?
Let's say, can we add one? Can we add health?
Health, yeah. Let's put health next to body. Yeah. Health and body. You got it. What is not crushed by time?
God.
My soul.
Okay, I heard a lot. It's beautiful. Okay, I heard faith. So I'm not here to be of any particular denomination, so I'm just going to put the divine, and you can insert whatever you want in there. Okay.
Metaphysics.
Okay.
Metaverse.
Okay. So divine, and I'm doing my best to work through everything I heard. So thank you for your patience. Divine. I heard my soul or my spirit. Okay. So faith, maybe how I would categorize that is your faith is in the divine. So it's kind of encapsulated there. Yeah, Lisa?
What about intention?
Intention, hold that thought. I have a feeling in about an hour and a half from now, we'll have a very elevated conversation about intention. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So there might be a few more here. Like time itself is actually not crushed by time.
Physics, like laws.
Say that again?
Existing laws.
Existing laws.
Like physics.
Physics. Okay. I'm probably not educated to know enough about where that sits. I have a feeling that it might actually sit inside of the divine because the divine created the physics. That's my best guess, but I stand to be corrected. Okay. So we've got divine is not crushed by time. Your soul, which is a spark of the divine, is not crushed by time. Time is not crushed by time. In case anyone has an objection in their head, well, time doesn't exist or something like that. What's interesting is the first line of the Bible is, in the beginning there was the Word, right? That's in the English translation. In the Hebrew translation, it's actually in a beginning. There was the Word, if you go back to the original writing. So there's a debate about, are there multiple timelines? Maybe, but what I know is that whether it's multiple timelines, one timeline, time is something somewhere, and it marches on, and at least that's what I know in my human body here today, okay? So there's like a couple other, but as we can see, pretty short list. What we can see down here, monster, unlimited. There's not enough paper or ink in this pen to list out all the things that are crushed by time, okay? So what's interesting is the part that can be crushed by time, if we call this part up here, let's call this the spiritual world. And we're going to call this the material world. Okay. Now there's a couple other items that I would actually add to the crushed by time. Okay. Knowing how to tie your shoes. Do you know how to do that when you're born? No. Okay. Do some adults get Alzheimer's and forget the names of their kids? Okay. So knowledge is actually crushed by time. The asterisk we could put there is like, well, what about infinite spiritual wisdom? Okay, we can put that up in the top, but pretty much all of the knowledge is here. Okay. One other item that is crushed by time, our material ego. So I'm better than this person, or I have this title. That's all material ego. You guys are like, I came to hang out on a Sunday. We are going way deep here. Oh my word. Okay. Thank you for being here. So if this is all crushed by time, it's not crushed by time, this is not crushed by time. This world right here can actually get subdivided into three more categories. Okay? Neil and I are just getting to know each other. He's like, this is quite the first impression.
It's much better than introduction call.
Then our introduction call?
Like keep doing like, hi, how are you?
Oh, the standard.
Working on.
Yeah, let's get a coffee. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so these three categories, should we do a different color? Sure, we'll do a different color. What do we got? Orange is a little too much. Let's go green. Okay. So this is actually ignorance. This right here is called passion. This right here is called goodness. ignorance, passion, and goodness. As I build this out, you're going to find out that in Western success, pop psychology, et cetera, this idea that's hundreds of thousands of years, in fact, it's infinite, gets so distorted and ruined by Western success culture and by, honestly, the white people. It's not the first time the white people have ruined a lot, okay? It's kind of like if someone is full of ego and they go to war under the name of we're doing it for God, but actually it's for their own ego. Again, bastardizing ancient spiritual goodness under what? Material ego. Or I know what's best, or something, money, or anything down here. So ignorance, passion, and goodness. So I'm gonna assign some funky names to these three that may be new words, maybe strange words. They're the technically accurate words going back thousands of years. Goodness is what's known as sattva. Passion is what's known as rajas. Ignorance is what's known as tamas. This up here is what's known as bhakti or shuddha-sattva. Yoga is not just warrior one, okay? If your consciousness is oriented here, you're in something called bhakti yoga. Okay, that's the proper term, even if you never get into downward dog, okay? In fact, a lot of, something else that the West has appropriated and kind of distorted is yoga class. I mean, yoga class is intended to give us a pathway to get up here, not just to have a more stretchier hamstring, okay? Now, love the stretchy hamstring because it allows the mechanism of my body to be of service in the world at a higher level. Beautiful, love it, okay? So sattva, rajas, tamas. I'm just gonna give you a quick flavor for it, then we're gonna do a quick exercise. So let's start over here, tamas. Tamas is the mode of ignorance. Tamas is inside every one of us. In fact, all four of these, sattva, rajas, tamas, and bhakti, is inside all of us. And it is a wicked arm wrestle with every passing moment. It is a wicked arm wrestle. They're all competing to dominate the other three, okay? And what's interesting is these two right here, these two get real sticky and tricky. In the Bhagavad Gita, it describes the three modes of material nature. This is material nature. These are the three modes as being ropes that are in a knot. And the more that we're pulling on tamas or rajas, we're tightening the knot, just like if you pull a bow tight, right? But the more in our life that we're pulling on sattva, that's the one rope that makes things easier. Now, sattva is actually not the final destination. This is the ultimate goal. It's just it's not impossible. It's just it's much, much more difficult to get up here if we're here. In a sense, this is the airport to get us here. If I went to the Austin airport because I was really excited to go to the Elder, Law Marketing Summit, okay. If I went to the Austin airport, I got here and I'm like, well, I really want to go to Orlando. I'm like, oh, but you know what? This pretzel is just so good. And this live music at the Austin airport is just so good that I miss all the flights and I never make it to Orlando, then I kind of miss the point. It's progress. We want to get there, okay? But it's not the end destination, not to be confused, okay? So in these spaces, so typically what happens, and I think this is like a beautiful depiction of children. Every single one of us, from the moment we're born to the moment we die, and even beyond that, once we go into the next, whatever you believe, whether we're transcending to heaven or transcending to reincarnation or something like that, has this bright shining diamond. Children typically don't have much dust or mud on that diamond. They're free. They don't care if they run around naked, okay? Little cherubs, just like living the dream, okay? Then after that, mud starts to accumulate. Now, let me just say, I'm not going to romanticize childhood. You're very vulnerable to predators, okay, as a child. You can't take care of yourself. I'm not romanticizing. I'm just saying that beautiful depiction. Then something happens. At school, Tommy punches the child, or they get called a name, and like the mud and the dust can start to accumulate. What's great as a human is we get, as an adult, we start to get more and more education, more and more perspective, more and more choice about what's really going on here. So if this is the bright shining diamond up here, and let's say it's more or less here, we start to get attached. Well, but I want to be the class president, or oh, I want to make $1 million, or oh, I want to be a professional football player, right? We start to get attached, and what do we fall into? Well, now I need to be passionate. Respect the grind, first in, last out of the gym, hustle, 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 hustle. As we get connected to what? All these things down here, we get passionate about chasing it. Now here's the thing. I tried to remember this last month and I failed utterly, but let's see if I can get it this time. The serenity prayer. God grant me, I'll say it slowly so my brain can stitch it together. God grant me the serenity to control what's in my control, not try to control what's not my control, and the wisdom to know the difference. Something like that, okay? I won't take 7 cracks at it like last month, okay? But this is the classic, what's in your circle of control and what's in your circle of and not, right? So if guaranteed we're going to get crushed by time on anything down here, but we're so passionate about getting it, how much heartbreak's in our future? It's not even that you might be heartbroken. I promise you you're going to be heartbroken. It's guaranteed you're going to be heartbroken to the extent that you have material attachments, is the extent that you'll have material miseries in your life, including to being right. We've heard that expression, you can be right or you can be loved. You can be right or you can be rich, right? These kinds of statements come from this right here, okay? And so being attached down here instead of up here is the source of every bit of sadness, frustration, resentment, anger that we experience right here, right now. You can list all your disturbances in your life right now. I promise you, 100% comes back to this down here, 100%. Why is it that like the moment before people die, they forgive everyone? Okay? Suddenly, they realize this don't matter all that much. And they're just like, I see the divinity in every person. I see the divinity in the divine. Life becomes so clear. I had a period in my life I couldn't walk for 3 months. And I had to come to terms with I may never walk again. You want to talk about taking away, I was a former college athlete. You don't get to do that anymore. As a former touring drummer, can't do that anymore. I'd lost 300 grand in the 2008 crash. You ain't got that no more. You don't have multiple houses. Gone, 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 gone. But what I also realized was, wait, all my worst fears have come true. I've failed. I've disappointed investors. I've publicly humiliated myself. The year before, I was actually one of my city's 20 under 30 rising stars. And then I lost everything, couldn't walk, and was $300,000 in debt with no way to make money. Okay, right? But you know what? I'd lost everything, but wait, I'm not dead. So what's my number one asset? Yeah, that's right, Lisa. Not this. It's this. Because I even lost the ability to walk down here, okay? So we start in goodness. We get some mud on the diamond. We get some dust on the diamond. And now we're like, well, that means I'm not good enough unless I'm the quarterback or I'm dating the quarterback or whatever it is that we want. And so we get passionate. And we drive and we drive and we drive and we drive. But guess what? It's all out of our control. We don't know if we'll win the championship, we'll make the $1 million, et cetera, et cetera. Ultimately, it's not guaranteed. In fact, some of us, maybe a lot of us, have made some amount of money and lost it all. So even if you do get it, it's not permanent. What a cruel joke we play on ourselves that we base our material ego and our knowledge on our ability to have these things. Is brutal. So at some point we get so beat down, what do we go to? We fall into tamas. Tamas is ignorance. Anything that has us checking out. God, I could use a glass of wine. you know what? Maybe I should fire up some fantasy football. Oh, I'm going to skip that workout. I'm just going to sleep. This is too much. Okay. It's the checking out. It's distancing ourselves from the bright shining diamond. So, this is our playing field, if you will, of where to orient ourselves. I'll offer a bit of hope here before we jump into our exercise. My experience is that literally, actually, let's go this way. When I was recovering from my illness and I was not quite able to walk again, but close to it, I saw a quote that sent chills down my spine in 2011, and it haunted me until last year, 14 years. The quote was, "Hell is meeting the man I could have been." Does that hit anyone else here? Hell is meeting the man or the woman, that I could have been. Because I kept imagining I would get to the pearly gates, I'd meet some 89-year-old version of myself, better looking, better dressed, $1 zillion, all the accolades, tons of respect, on and on and on. I would meet that version of me, the man I could have been. And I would feel so regretful that I had wasted my life. Last year it hit me. It's not the quote. The quote is not, "Hell is meeting the man who has what I could have had." The quote is not, "Hell is meeting the man who did what I could have done." The quote is, "Hell is meeting the man I could have been." I don't have to wait till I die and I'm whatever years old at the pearly gates to find out who I'm being. That's literally a moment by moment choice, and all I got to do is look in the mirror. And the incredible thing, some people talk about the grass is greener on the other side. You've heard that before. Rarely true, okay? Sometimes, rarely not true, okay? Rarely true. What I think is very true is grass is greenest where we water it. And if a person is in ignorance, waking up super late, going to bed super late, intoxicated on the fantasy football, booze cruise, on and on and on, that is their life, they're going to get more of the same. If a person, and for the record, I am heavily in this category. Let me be the first to self-identify. I am a Rajasic machine, okay? Let's be clear. I literally lead a group called the High Performance Games. Could there be anything more Rajasic? I'll put an asterisk on that, which we'll come back to, but in here, we've got I would say the way David Goggins used to present himself, highly Rajasic, okay? Grind, go, go, go. And what do? We join accountability groups of people who are the same. And then we set up tools around us that allow us to do it. And then we have alarms that wake us up, and we have reminders to make sure that we're on plan. And we build a whole world for ourselves. And the more we put into this, the more of it we get. Likewise, over here, the more that we invest here, the more that we get. And that creates an opening. We actually can jump here, we can jump there. This is the easiest. Okay, we're at the airport already, okay? The more we invest here, the more of it that we get. Now, what's fascinating here is that there's actually a collection of qualities that are also consistent with each of these modes. So personal qualities like being confident. However, actually, let's go a few. Let's go confident. Let's go considerate. Let's go straightforward. Okay. And it's a long list. It's just a few. Okay. In Rajas, we've got being obnoxious. In sattva, we have being urgent. Over here, we have being anxious. Over here, we have being inhibited, being indecisive. We've got being scared. In Rajas, we have being loud, being selfish. As a Canadian, I was brought up by my country to not be loud. That's bad. That's being American, according to Canadians, okay? However, as a Canadian, a little scared. Oh, this is another one. This is like a hallmark of Canadian identity, self-deprecating. So I'm now super confused because I moved to America. I'm like, I don't want to be obnoxious, but I also don't want to be self-deprecating. I do want to be confident. I do want to be bold and straightforward. And I started to tease apart in my mind. How can I be urgent but not anxious? Could I be urgent and excited? Could I be urgent and curious? What a distinction. Could I be straightforward and honest is another one in here. Could I be straightforward and honest while still being considerate and without being selfish, without being obnoxious about it? All of a sudden, I started to see that I can tease apart and pick and choose what I want to keep and what I want to let go of. And the interesting thing is, the grass grows where we water it. So the more that I can be straightforward and considerate, delivering bad news to someone, no, I will not give you the refund, and here are the reasons why. No, I will not come to your birthday party, and this is why. We actually create more sattva, and we start untangling the rope of the material world more and more and more and more. I don't know if last week was like, hey, Tim, you need some material for this talk you're giving on Saturday, because I had two situations that I was like, this fits exactly in what we're talking about. Holy smokes, okay? So there's a vendor that we've given over $100,000, and I have not enjoyed working with them for 10 years. But they're the only people who could do it for us, and I was like, and I see them on our credit card statement many, many times per year, even per month. And every time I see it, I'm just like, oh God, those people. But I'm like, I don't have an alternative. This sucks. So finally, our annual, we have to pay a lot through the year, but there's also a big every year renewal fee for this thing. And I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, guys, I got to speak up. I'm not loving this. And in my mind, I'm like, this is like, I'm going to walk away, or you just got to downgrade me, and we got to minimize this, right? Well, before I know it, the account rep says, oh, I'm going to get the VP of sales involved, because I think they pulled up my account and they saw that we spent over $100,000 with them, and they're like, oh, maybe we want to keep these people, right? And then before I know it, the CEO of the entire company has been added to the conversation. So between the CEO's hourly rate, the VP of sales, the customer success person, and me, this is an expensive ass meeting, okay? And in the call, this part of me, I wanted to burn it down. Actually, no, that's tamasic, that's destruction. Okay, I wanted to burn this thing down, okay? Because this is alive for me too, you guys, okay? And then I said, what would the sattvic version look like? What would the sattvic version look like? And it hit me that I've got a divine soul. I got 3 divine souls on this call with me. I'm going to speak to that and their journey. And so I sat with them and I said, number one, I've met you guys in person before. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for all being here. I really appreciate how much you care about me being here. And I got to let you know, I've really disliked my experience working with you guys. I'd like to tell you about that if that would be helpful to you. And you guys, the temperature in the room went from 1 billion degrees to like sunny and 75, okay? And I wouldn't say it was like enjoyable to deliver that information, okay? But I was confident, I was considerate, I was not obnoxious, I was not tearing them, I was not destructive, I also was not selfish, just thinking about me, okay? Another situation last week. Had someone say they wanted a $10,000 refund. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting because that's not in our terms of service anywhere. And if we make a list of all the services we've delivered a lot of this contract, and this person's like, I don't care, I just want the money back. And so I said, okay, well, happy to get on a call with you. Let's co-create something like win-win. They're like, no, don't want to. And I said, okay, well, it's not my preference. It's not my preference. Absent a conversation with you to co-create something, I'm probably going to have to just defer to the terms of service and the refund, details there. Fine. Okay. In that instance, for me, I can see that this person is operating somewhere in here. I don't actually want to, I won't indicate where, but somewhere in my personal life, there's someone who's an alcoholic in my life right now. I don't particularly want to conspire with them to deepen their tamasic behavior. At the same time, there is a divine soul in there, and I want to call out to that. I want to breathe into that and call that forward. Okay? And in this particular instance, this particular person really, I'm open to the possibility I was wrong. Maybe they did deserve the whole $10,000 back. It could be. I just didn't have anything to work with. Or like what I had to work with was limited. And so if they're tamasic and they're burning the relationship down, I can't participate in that. I can participate in this. And I'm ready to participate in this as best as I know how. And so I said to them, well, I'll tell you what. The terms of service says $0. I'll give you a percentage back. I'll send it to you not in 14 business days or whatever the time was. I'll get it to you in like 4 business days. And if you'd ever like to reach out again, I'd be open to hearing from you again. And I do disagree with you in your version of events, and mine seem to differ. And it sounds like we'll be agreeing to disagree for now. And I sent the email, and what I got back was, thanks. So this introduced, like, 2 weekends ago, I had my 17-year entrepreneur anniversary. Now, the last time I walked out of a day job, part-time job, I was actually a diabetes researcher at the University of Alberta. 17 years ago, walked out of that, walked straight to a venue with my band. We played a show in a coffee shop called Muddy Waters. I'll always remember it. And you guys, that whole day, I was so thrilled to not be working in someone else's business that, like, I brought a handy cam. And I was like recording myself in the morning, and I'm like, oh, this is me driving, and like, this is the clock, and this is my face, right? And then after that, I'm like, this is me reaching for the office door the last time. And then like, I was actually interviewing some people. I'm like, isn't it great that I'm leaving, right? And in their heads, they're probably like, yeah, it is great that you're leaving, okay? Because where am I in this list? Obnoxious, okay? These are people who have PhDs. Their life service is to be in this place. They've worked their asses off to be able to get grants to open up this facility, and I'm like, see ya, you know what I mean? Oh my God, how insulting, okay? So 17-year entrepreneur anniversary, and I've read books, like Tony Hsieh's book, may his soul rest in peace, about extreme customer service. And we've heard the customer's always right. But then I've also taken workshops where it's like, don't be a pushover, you know what I mean? And so I've just felt like heaving and hoeing in this land of like, how do I deal with people? This is just contradictory messages all over the place. And then it dawns on me, it's because I'm trying to solve on the material plane. Whereas if I said, what if it's out of my control whether the other person is happy or sad, whether that person stops drinking or not, whether that person stops abusing this person or not, physically, emotionally, psychologically, or whatever, if that's all out of my control and I can't control how they're going to respond, who do I need to impress here? What do I got to do? Because it seems like an unwinnable game no matter what. And that's when it hit me, I'm in the wrong game. Person I need to impress, that which will never be crushed by time. For my soul, for my bright shining diamond to radiantly shine, and for me to go to the divine, whatever that means to you, and to know that I'd taken my gifts and moved closer, not further, from the divine. I didn't get into this to stand in the way of that connection. What got us here is some blend of this. What's going to get us to wherever we ultimately want to go, even if we can't quite articulate it, is probably investing more to the right and probably more to the up. That is probably going to get you the greatest satisfaction of your entire life, in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay, so I promised an exercise. We're going to do this exercise. We're going to first do a group version, then we're going to do a small group version. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read out some statements, and I'd like to get your thoughts on where you think this falls. Okay. One of the hardest parts, in my opinion, of being able to move to the right and up is even just knowing where am I in different moments in these different situations, keeping in mind they're all present all the time. With that Southwest agent, I was 100% here, burn it down, but then my better angels and wiser self came here, and it unwove the knot and life got better. Okay, so I'm going to make a statement, and feel free to just call it out what you're hearing. Here's a statement. After hearing the early morning alarm, I stay in bed for half an hour even though my body isn't needing the extra rest. Ignorance, Thomas. You got it. I use several hours in the morning for absorption in meditation or prayer, studying and discussing with others, literature that helps me differentiate between spirit, matter, body, and soul. Sattva. I eat too fast. Rajas. You got it. I eat too fast. I'm looking at the floor near my desk, and I see folders that have been waiting to be filed for several months, and I tell myself, I'll get to them maybe next weekend. Thomas. Though it feels uncomfortable, even frightening, I share honest thoughts and feelings with a friend regarding aspects of our relationship that have been distasteful and disturbing for me. Sattva. Bingo. I write an email really quickly because I'm anxious to get the next thing done on my list, resulting in imprecision. I create a mess in my spelling, grammar, and communication. Rajas, which might lead to Tamas. Okay, definitely Rajas. I give my time to support a friend and feel resentful about it, and I'm feeling attached to getting something back in return here because it's so one-sided. We got us some Rajas with some Tamas because I kind of want to burn down the relationship. I find myself going to social events I don't really want to go just to please my families and friends. Rajas, motive activity. I go even though I don't want to. I push through the grind. Okay. Let me take this quick opportunity. I'm actually not standing up here saying you shouldn't work hard. The question is, where is it rooted? Where is it rooted? If I'm rooted in, I'm going to work 100-hour work weeks because I need to worship dead things, which my actions reveal my priorities, and if I'm chasing money at the cost of everything else, I'm chasing a person, a status, a title, these are all dead things here. Money is dead. It's neutral. It's inert. It's not conscious, okay? Cars, titles are kind of here. Or I'm like, I have to do 100 deals this year, or I have to get 500 members or 60,000 followers, or I have to raise the money. Okay. If that's what's got me working 100-hour work weeks, I'm going to be exhausted, and a little bit probably burning it to the ground. On the flip side, if the soul has turned to itself and in consciousness and reflection realizes my greatest service is to protect children against injustice. Or maybe my greatest service is to sell houses because I'm giving people an opportunity to build a home. Or maybe my greatest service is to raise capital, to deploy it in a place that raises society. The details almost don't matter about what your service is, as long as it is your service. And you'll find that where it's rooted is what will lead to the satisfaction or dissatisfaction. It's not about how many hours a week. It's not about where you do it. Okay? It's not even about, I'd say who you do it with accelerates or decelerates, makes it easier or harder, but ultimately it's about where is it rooted. Okay? Now I'm going to throw one more thing on this, and then Lisa, we're going to take your question. The whitewashed version of this you do have. Now, that's actually pretty accurate. It is accurate. But the way we talk about it in our success literature in the West is not at all rooted in, okay? Often, not always, but oftentimes, we'll take a break in 3 minutes. Oftentimes, we'll say, well, if I want to have the $1 million or the $1 million house or the beautiful family or the whatever, then what I have to do is I have to date and I have to be on 3 dates a week, or I need to do 6 proposals a month or whatever. And after that, I'll be free, successful, accepted. Okay, I got it. But where's the actual consciousness in that? Where are we rooted? Where did my line of thinking start? Just be. I'm just being, okay? But the consciousness is still over here, right? The Western life is this. But then we dress it up and call it pretty and go over here. But we're really only doing this so we can get that. Have, do, be, do, have, be, okay? Neither of which are rooted in this. And I had the craziest experience. It was like, 2009 or something. It was actually through taking one of Dr. Will's 6-day retreats. And it hit me that I was hustling 100-hour work weeks to be financially free. I wanted to have $10,000 a month of passive income. So what I had to do is all these real estate deals so I could be free. Can we think of people who have $1 million a month of passive income and are not free? Can we think of people with $1 million a month who are free? Yeah, it's neutral. But where is it rooted? And it dawned on me, that was actually right before I lost the 300 grand and couldn't walk and all the rest. It dawned on me that actually I could be free, even at $300,000 in debt, even at being unable to walk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever it is you say you want, it's available. You don't have to go do the thing or have the thing to be there. It is a choice and a connection. A choice and a connection. And if that's hard to see right now, if that's hard for you to see right now, that's okay. I'm not going to ask you to agree with me. What I'm going to invite you to is try watering the grass here. When you get up in the morning, you step on the dog, it yelps. You got a fork in the road. Prong one, you son of a bitch dog, and you kick it. Option two, why do you always do that? Yell, 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 and then go around and curse and, get angry and think about, I got to buy a lock for the door because we got to lock this thing out of here. I hate stepping on it. Or we've got a prong of the fork that could be, oh, I'm so sorry. You okay? Thank you so much for loving me so much that you couldn't be more than 6 inches from me through the night. Let's find a win-win situation here that we can continue to have the love and I'm not crushing your rib cage every morning when I get up. This right here is the land of win-win. This is the land of I'm going to win and you're going to lose. This is the land of, well, I'm not winning, so you're not either, so we're just going to burn this whole thing down. We're going to lose-lose. If you have a bunch of areas of your life right now that feel like this, try watering the grass here. And it can be as simple as thanking the Southwest agent for getting you a new flight. It can be as simple as having grace when someone cuts you off in traffic. It can be as simple as saying, I want one more Twinkie, and I know that doesn't bring me any closer. In fact, it brings me further from my spiritual connection. All of those are sattvic choices after sattvic choice after sattvic choice. Start stringing some W's together, evermore, evermore, evermore. You will be amazed at how the other things you want, you don't want to experience obnoxious, loud, selfish people or people who are, or yourself like this. Water the grass here and watch these just start to transform over time. Final point for this part of our presentation. 203 days ago, I made a commitment 20 minutes a day that I would spend time hanging out up here, turn off the world, and I cannot begin to list the number of different ways my life has just evolved. In health, wealth, and relationships. Some things that were near and dear to me that I thought were absolutely steady, going to happen for sure, faded away. Things that I had no idea existed, flourished. All from doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on being in this zone and maybe like the sun clouds from time to time getting a glimpse up here. Okay. I promised a break. At least I haven't forgotten about your question. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 6-minute break. It is wet out there. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to part two. I'll just make one comment to clarify something. I think in our more Western way of thinking, we think of have, do, be as being very separate. And it's like, oh, just be, right? When in fact, all three of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, as I mentioned, and Bhakti are actually present at all times, right? And it's a wrestling match. So you could look at someone from the outside and you could say, oh my goodness, this person's working 8 hours a week, or they're absolutely, focused, or they're an Olympic athlete. We just had the Olympics, right? And like, well, those people all must be Rajasic, right? Like, oh my God, they're so spiritually bankrupt, right? Well, no, we don't know where they're coming from. If someone is in the Olympics because they're trying to make up for, their relationship with their father or something like that, and we're tied up into that which will be crushed by time, that athlete's probably not going to have a super satisfying career and may even find themselves with overuse injuries, and who knows how it all manifests, right? Whereas, there's some athletes, you see them perform, and it is literally like the gift of the divine to see them perform, be it a dancer or a basketball player shooting a three-pointer. Like, there's just something about it that has a quality of divinity. And so it's not about the number of hours. It's not about what we're doing or not doing. It's about what the source is. Even to the point of, yes, technically this right here, typically associated with destruction, but there actually is war that does sit in Sattva and even in Bhakti, believe it or not. Believe it or not. The question isn't, do we have a weapon and are we pulling the trigger? The question is, where is it coming from? If someone gets punched in the face, is that good or bad? I don't know. We might be protecting an innocent person, a vulnerable person. The knife in the hand of the surgeon saves a life. The knife in the hand of the murderer takes a life. So being curious with a person and finding out what's beneath the scenes for them, where are they, and supporting them to take a look at themselves to see, am I coming from a place that's the most life-giving for me? We actually cannot just be. It's actually logically, physically, spiritually, metaphysically, it's impossible to just be. If you laid in bed in a coma, you would still be doing things. Your heart would still be pumping, okay? So the being, the doing is always there, okay? So what I wanted to create here is an opportunity for us to take a look at where in our lives do we find ourselves wrestling in this space, and maybe we could get a breakthrough to move a little to the right and to the up, okay? Last month we did we spent significant time on learning the mechanics of reflective listening or mirroring. We did record that session if you ever want to see it. It's like right on my YouTube channel. I could send it to you afterwards. You just text me. Happy to send it to you. And to me, so we're going to do some of that now. And just a couple guidelines I wanted to offer. If I'm coming from, I'm going to be a good listener from the place of, am I doing it right? Okay, I'm kind of missing the point. Mirroring or reflective listening, as some of you may have learned it, is I'm going to mirror back content plus emotion. So, I hear that you're really excited, emotion, because your landing page has great conversion. I'm listening for emotion, and I'm adding content. Now, why am I doing this? Am I doing it from the place of, I'm in this stupid couples counseling thing, and this damn psychologist is making me do this, and oh, if they really knew how, is that where I'm coming from? Knowledge, material, ego, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Am I doing it just to do the exercise, which again is just in the doing? Or am I sincerely there to be almost a Sherpa or a guide, to be there in the world of the other person, to hold up the mirror, to have them hear back what's coming out of them such that they get to reflect and say, is that actually true? What's there underneath the surface for me? I've been in conversations. It was actually a business transaction, a business I was looking at buying, and suddenly the negotiation hit a wall. And they came back and like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore because of blah, 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 blah. Now, I could have gone to defending. Well, that's not what I said. Or explaining. Well, no, that's not how it works. Or giving my opinion. Or even reassuring, oh, don't worry, it'll all be fine. Okay? Maybe that's all well-intentioned. Maybe. But they're all roadblocks to actually being with that person in their moment where something is important to their head or their heart. And I'm inserting myself, and it's not good. It's not productive. Okay? So I didn't go there. Thankfully, the training I've received and the development I've gained had me say, oh, I'm hearing that, so what's the feeling? You're feeling hesitant, content about this deal. You're feeling hesitant about this deal, emotion plus content. I said, yeah. I just don't know if I like some of the terms, like, what if this doesn't work out? What's the emotion there? Fear, fear. Hesitancy, sorry? Uncertainty, yep, okay, and what's the content? I'll say it again. I'm really not sure if it's, what if it doesn't work out? So the emotion is fear. What's the content there?
The deal.
Yeah. You might get stuck in a deal you hate, right? You're afraid that you might get stuck in a deal you hate. Yeah, and I just stayed in that mirroring position 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds, literally. And I'm watching this $1 million deal disintegrate before my eyes. Okay, this is not like an enjoyable experience, okay? And I'd put legal fees into it, and I'd spent hours on hours, and my coach's hours, and my, not my accountant's hours, but another accountant's hours to get to this point where this person's like, I want to sue her this. But I stuck with it. I stuck in being curious, being considerate what's happening in their world, instead of, I got to get this deal done or F this person. After 7, 8, 9 rounds of holding space, this other person comes back and says, you know what it is? You said something that reminded me of my ex-business partner. And that ended very badly. Wow, so you're feeling like alarmed because you've seen the script before and you know how it ends. Yeah. The moment we hit the bottom of the pool, your shoulders relaxed. The human brain can only operate in the amygdala or the prefrontal cortex. It can't be in both at the same time. Amygdala is fight, flight, freeze, sometimes fawn. Okay? Prefrontal cortex is executive functioning, creativity, collaboration, okay? If you're being chased by a grizzly bear, you're not thinking about what's for dinner tonight. What's in the fridge? What could I put together? It's not happening. You're in one or the other. So by holding space to help this person get to the bottom of the pool, to get the real issue on the table, now we have an opportunity to both be in our prefrontal cortex, collaborate, and find something much more satisfying. And all it came down to was we put one extra clause in the agreement. And that clause was, if either of us hates this anytime in the next 6 months, we can cut this thing off, part ways as friends. You get the equity back, I get the money back, whatever the details are. How's that sound? She's like, you would do that? Yeah, I would do that. I trust, because we're having this kind of conversation, that we can have this kind of conversation if something else comes up, or, like, we don't know what's going to come our way, but actually the fact that we get to have this conversation right now, as uncomfortable as it's been, isn't actually a sign. It's a very attractive to me to be in this situation because I have a partner that I can actually talk to. Okay. Beautiful. All I did, the first part is sometimes the hardest, is to notice when, I got to flip into mirroring, because we don't be mirroring all the time. It's obnoxious, right? What time is it? So I'm hearing you're uncertain about the time. Obnoxious, okay? So reasonably, when we hear that something's important to someone's head or heart, if someone's like, no, I really need you to know the flight is at 10:23 p.m., don't miss it. I missed that one last night, but. Okay, so if something's important to someone's head or heart, our antenna goes up, we flip into mirroring, we get away from all those roadblocks of defending and explaining. Okay, easier said than done. I'm the first person to say it's way easier said than done, especially when that person has some feedback for you. And a chill enters the room. When that loved one, or that client, or that business partner, or that staff member is like, you didn't listen to me in the last meeting. You didn't take the trash out. Whatever. A lot harder to go, content plus emotion. What did Tim say? Mama, okay, all right, content plus emotion. I am telling you, you've got my word, that if, to the extent you can find that courage to stay in that space and hold space, 99 out of 100 times, you will walk away feeling much more satisfied, even if it isn't a kumbaya ending. Because why? You're investing in here, and the only person you're impressing is this person up here. Even if you end up saying, no, I'm not giving you the refund. Okay? All right. So some other practices as we go into this exercise. Bless you. As human beings, at least myself, we naturally tend to focus on what are the words the person said. When in fact, in emotional conversations, depending on the studies you look at, there's the classic 1974, Dr. Albert Morabian says only 7% is the words that we say, 38% is the tone of voice, and 55% is our body language. Okay. So whether those numbers are exactly accurate, it's directionally accurate in my experience. Let's pretend it's true at minimum. And so what that means is maybe Elizabeth is talking to me, and maybe I'm getting 100% of everything Elizabeth is saying to me. And if I'm like this, yeah, sounds good. Oh yeah, no, I'm listening. Keep coming. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah, your father really is a jerk. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, you're doing great. Even if I heard everything she said, and I caught every bit of content and emotion perfectly, what's Elizabeth's experience? You're not listening to me. Now she gets preoccupied with how I'm not listening to her rather than her having the opportunity to go deep into, here's the issue, and then actually it's that, but actually no, oh my goodness, it's this, oh my goodness, here's the bottom of the pool. Okay. So some principles to think about when we're about to do this exercise, which will be in what's called a dyad format, so 2 people, is you're gonna get with someone. I would like you to practice open body position. So if we're sitting on the edge, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're certainly not looking at a phone, okay? Open body position, shoulders, hips, knees square, hands on the knees or wherever's comfortable. Comfortable eye contact. We're not going into like axe murderer eye contact, okay? But like gentle eye contact, okay? And anything else that might be in the space that could create distraction, you got a cell phone, put it in your purse, if you have a liquid that is there's a coffee here, let's put that somewhere that we're not going to kick it over. There's a ledge right here. That could be a good spot, okay? Give this person your full attention, and you have only one job. Say back to them, emotion plus content, and just stick with that. If you're a veteran reflective listener, roll with it, see what shows up for you, but what's more important is what shows up for the other person, okay? So I'm going to invite you to get, not in this moment, but as soon as I say go, I'm going to invite you to get to one person that you didn't know before today, okay? And I'd like you to find a way to be in open body position facing each other. If you need to rearrange some chairs, you're welcome to do that. If there's no chairs remaining, you can do it standing, fine by me. Or for physical reasons, you need to be seated or standing, please, whatever makes you comfortable. I'd like you to bring to mind something, actually no, I'm going to give instructions in a moment. Quietly, because I'm about to give the next instruction in a minute from now, quietly find that person who's going to be your dyad partner. Do your best to stay silent, and then I'm going to give some further instructions. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. Very good. Okay, who's the first person who's going to be doing the process? Put your hand up for me, please. Okay, keep that hand up. Keep that hand up until we see everyone. Okay, so you're person A, okay? You can put your hands down, thank you. So person A, you're going to bring to mind something that's in your life right now. In your life right now, you don't have to bare your soul. This is a stranger. Or maybe it's better to bare your soul because they're a stranger and they don't have all the relationship capital that's been built up over time. It's up to you. It's your choice, so don't hold me responsible for this, okay? But bring to mind something in your life right now where you're feeling like you're in a win-lose or a lose-lose type situation. It's not working. It could be with your dog that's peeing on the carpet, or it could be with a person. It could be a superficial thing. It could be a profound thing. It could be in your personal life, your business life. Wide open, you get to choose, okay? You get to choose. Now, let's stay quiet. As soon as you have that item in mind, person A, please put your hand up, just so that I know. Keep it up. Keep it up, please, once we're all there. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Put your hands down. Person B, right now, let's get into open body position. A slight lean forward oftentimes indicates interest, gentle eye contact. Okay, let's get to that place. Anything on your lap, if you've got phones or whatever, just get it off your lap. If it's in your pocket, that's fine. Okay, awesome. Your only job is to listen for emotion and content. And if that's getting tricky, which it can, believe me, it can, the main thing is actually emotion. That may sound surprising, but the content actually matters less than you think it does. So listen for the emotion. And if your emotional vocabulary is like good, bad, sad, glad, mad, and it's like those 5 words, roll with that, okay? That's something you'll develop over time. Over time, you'll learn extra words like resentful, or you feel inspired or whatnot. That'll come with time. So be gentle with yourself. Your energy, your presence is what's going to be the difference that makes the difference. I'm going to give about 5 minutes. Partner A is going to share. Partner B, you're just going to mirror. You'll hear the bell ring at the end of 5 minutes. And then after that, I'll give further instructions. Are we clear on what needs to happen? Lisa, I saw your hand go up. You're good? Okay, all right. 3, 2, 1. We're good? And go. First hour? Yeah. All right, let's bring that to a close, everyone. Okay. In a moment, we're going to switch roles. And so who's partner B? Who's partner B? Okay. So bring to mind a moment or something in your life that's frustrating or exhausting, okay? Once you've got that, please put your hand up so that I know. Okay, good. Is that everyone?
Question hand.
Well, that's a question hand. Good, Aaron.
After we mirror, just keep mirroring.
For now, yes.
Okay.
Maybe not in the big wide world once you're out in the wild, but for now, that's what we're working on. Thank you. Yeah, we want to avoid asking open-ended questions. We want to avoid psychoanalyzing. We want to avoid advice giving. Those can actually also be counterproductive to actually a person being able to find their own answer. As a recovering mansplainer, I have come to realize that actually I'm not the expert in the room, and actually whoever has got the challenge oftentimes, there's moments we do need to train if someone's like, how do I plug in the vehicle? Okay, I get it. There's times for that, for sure. But when we're in the holding space mode for something that's emotional or psychologically confronting or whatnot, 99 times out of 100, the person with the challenge has the best solution. And oftentimes solutions we generate ourselves, we typically like to stick to them a little longer too. Okay, so this coaching frame is a powerful one. It's not always the right frame, but when we're in it, for now we'll stick with that. And then down the road, Aaron, we can start mixing in maybe a future session. We'll get into more advanced open-ended questions and whatnot. Okay, who's partner A? The listener for now. Who's partner A? Okay, who's partner A here? Put your hand up. Yep, good, thank you. Okay, partner A, your only job here, in addition to having open body position, comfortable eye contact, slight lean forward, demonstrating interest, your only job here is to listen for emotion plus content. Now, if you're speaking, you can make it easier on your listener. Instead of giving them a 4-minute share, think about giving them like a 30-second share or a 20-second share so that your listener has an opportunity to get it in small bites, because it can be a lot for the ram to hold in the head. If it's like, oh, this emotion and that emotion, that kind of, and then the mom did this and the sister did that, and oh my God, okay, so let's try for small chunks. We're gonna have 5 minutes, starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so I'd like to hear whether you're a sharer or whether you're a person A or person B, whether it's your time sharing or your time listening, what that was like for you, what's present, what kind of impression it's made on you. And let's go for this form. Let's go for, if you're going to share, I'd like you to put your hand up. I'll call on you. You can stand up, say your name so everyone gets to know you, so we get to know each other more. And then your share. And let's go for like a minute or less share, so that we have an opportunity to hear from different people and to go back and forth. Okay, who'd like to share their experience? All right, so everyone, let's grab our seats, and you're gonna need a writing implement. This is our final exercise for today. Going once, going twice, everyone's set? Okay, all right, let's find that writing vibe. Let's get in our space. If you're doing this on your phone, please do your best to remain in the room here in this exercise, okay? The exercise is as follows, okay? We've spent time thinking about have, do, be. We've been thinking about tamas, rajas, sattva. We've been thinking about bhakti or divinity, kind of our higher angels coming in from time to time. And in our lives, like, this is great. We're in a seminar setting right now. In a handful of minutes from now, you're going to go into the big world. And that coworker that annoys you, or the family member who just doesn't get it, they're still going to be there. Like, in fact, the seminar starts in about 15 minutes from now, right? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think ahead in the next 24 hours, 12, 24, 36, in the next day or two in your life. I want you to think ahead to a hot spot. I'm talking to my mother at 6 o'clock today. We may talk about that thing. Or I may have to go home and have a courageous conversation with someone at home. Or, oh man, on Monday, I've got a really tough deadline. I don't know if I can make it, okay? So think of a hot spot that's coming up for you in the next 1 to 2 days, okay? Then once you know what that is, I'd like you to speculate, just imagine, brainstorm. What would it look like for you to go into that hot spot in a tamasic way, avoiding, burn it down, destruction, distance, okay, that kind of vibe? What would it look like for you to go in a rajas passion mode? We got to fix this. We got to do it. We got to hustle hard, push bigger, okay? Have to. Lots of have to energy oftentimes in rajas passion. And then from there, I want you to think about that same hot spot. What would it look like to be in a sattvic mode? What would it look like to be in goodness? What would it look like? I'll just flip this over. What would it look like for you to be confident, considerate, straightforward, urgent, not anxious, that's different. Okay, urgent, honest, bold. There's a whole world of qualities in there that are sattva. What would it look like for you to be sattvic in that hot spot? And my hope is that when that moment comes, because we know it's going to, you'll get to see the forks in the road that you have available. And my hope with that is that you'll start to see the forks in the road that are available every hour of every day, and that moving forward you can select the prong of the fork that you think serves you best more often, to water the grass where we want it to grow. Okay, so I'm gonna do 5 minutes on the clock. Let's do our best to be in silence. And here's our questions, and we go. So in our closing moments here, I'll mention a couple of resources for you guys. I mentioned at the top, a lot of this appears in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a many thousands-year-old book. Great place to go. One way that I studied it is I actually created a custom GPT called my Gita Coach. And so when Charlie Kirk's shooting happened, I asked, like, what's the interpretation of this? And some people say, well, he said bad things, so he deserved it. And other people said, this isn't right. And like, so it's just like the swirling of the modern day life, having a place to go to just drop in and be like, give me some feedback and how do I think about this has been absolutely phenomenal for me. I've been working from this book. You guys have seen me working from this book. This is Relationships That Work by Dr. David Wolfe. Some of you have done workshops with me with him. We've brought him to Austin 3 times. It's been wonderful. We'll be bringing him back again in June, which I'll put the dates up in just a moment. Hilda, Leva, and I are doing these workshops once per month. So April 11th is our next, for now we're calling this Elevated Communication. I don't know if it's a great branding name, but we're rolling with it. So Elevated Communication, April 11th is our next installment like this 2-hour workshop on a weekend. Next one after that's May 9th, June the 6th. And then after that, and you guys are the first to know this, we now have tickets for sale for the 3-day workshop with Dr. David Wolfe. So we're flying him in from Florida, June 26th through 28th. I assure you, if you think that what you're experiencing here is good, that is 10x. It is an absolutely amazing experience. We do it on the outskirts of Austin near Jester King Brewery. There's a yoga center called Del Sol Kung Fu and Yoga. One room is Kung Fu, one is yoga. We will be in the yoga, not the Kung Fu. And so tickets here, we've sold 2 tickets already, even though we didn't even know people knew the website. So 2 are gone. The next 8 are at one price. If you end up buying last minute, if we still have tickets like closer to the end, it's a $995 ticket. Right now it's $495 if you're one of the first 10 ticket buyers. If you've come before, I can give you a deal if you want to come again. In addition to that, there's another foundational happening. This is in Wales, in the United Kingdom. So that's actually the next foundational with Dr. Wolfe. So today, so the next available foundation is March 12th through 15th. That's in Wales. They're actually doing an advanced course immediately after, which is a 6-day retreat. That's the 17th through the 23rd. So you could be in Wales the 12th through 15th, take a 1-day break, then do the advanced 17th through the 23rd. No one in here would be eligible for SOF 3 in Switzerland, but there's a 3rd level after that. In May, there's a foundational, which is the 3-day, and in July as well, there's an advance. So those are in Florida. So we've got Florida, we've got Switzerland, we've got Austin for the foundationals. To be clear, I don't make any money on these. I'm not a professional facilitator for this. It's just changed my life. I've studied for 16 years. I volunteer 100%. Hilda volunteers, Leva volunteers. We're here just because we love it. So it's changed my life in sales, marketing, conflict management, personal, business, everywhere. Now, I'm going to make what I think is an exciting opportunity here. If you want to come to April 11th, which is our next 2-hour, that is a $30 ticket. But if you say yes and put it in your calendar before you leave the room today, we'll give you the ticket at no charge. We'll comp you into the April 2-hour event. Just let Hilda, Leva, or I know before you leave today. If you don't know if you want to come, then tickets are $30 to come next month to the same exact workshop in approximately a month from now. Okay. What I'd like to do is just close with a couple words about what stood out, what was like a highlight for you. Call it a round of pearls. You know, what pearl jumped out for you today? After we do that, we will be complete for today in the formal sense. However, Leva, Hilda, and I will continue to be here if you want to chat. If you want to stay hang out with each other, there's lots of great people here to get to know. We'll have the room for at least the next 30 to 60 minutes if you want to just relax and chat, hang out with whoever's here. Okay? So let's go for the less is more format. So just a word or two, maybe a short phrase at most, about what really stuck out for you today. Maybe it's your favorite part, the part that touched you the most, the experience you enjoyed the most, anything like that. Okay? You're not required to share, but if you feel so called, please do put your hand up and we can go around the room. Go ahead.
Staying in practice.
Staying in practice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jules. Yep.
a little bit longer than a word or phrase, but it was the connection of the we do have, if you're doing it all for the things, and is that really the right motivation? That was really eye-opening.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Yep, Boris.
Yeah, how important listening is, because it's so easy to jump to try to give a solution, but that's not what we're doing. And so with that, I have to listen.
Right. Okay, thank you, Boris. Yep. Who else?
Practice a lot.
Practice a lot, yeah. Like a muscle. Yeah, exactly. Okay, who else? Yep.
The deeper relationships I want to have with people, the greater the tolerance I need for difficult conversations. So that's not right in my head.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you want to come teach this thing? Or? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. My pearl is Lisa's pearl, yeah. Anybody else? Sure. Elizabeth?
It was your opening story of what happened to you last night, and just looking for those synchronicities and the good, and that everything is happening for a reasoning for you and not to you. That was a great reminder for me right now.
Amazing. It's all part of the curriculum. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
My one word is just presence.
Presence. Okay, beautiful. And sometimes being physically present does not mean being present in the conversation.
Well, I think I take that into it, like being actually present with the person.
Yeah.
Helping do it all the time.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Next month, the topic, and I am like nervous to say this, but I'm going to say it and go for it, is dealing with difficult people. And that is difficult for me to stand up here and teach, because I'm sure I'm a difficult person to some people. So I'm like going on a limb here on this one, but I think it's really important. Okay, so April the 11th. Lastly, I would like to thank Hilda and Leva for being the engine behind this whole thing. I know you guys spend the most time in the last few hours looking at me, but it's really those two that are the engine and the driving force to bring us all together. So if we can get a round of applause for Hilda and Leva. And just my heartfelt appreciation for every single one of you. Because here's the thing. Did you know that a massive tanker ship, whether it's hauling oil or it's Carnival Cruise Line, it's hauling people, massive, thousands of tons heavy, it can get pulled by a tiny tugboat if its engines are off. The engines being off is if we are down here. When our life is run in this area, our engines are off, and a tiny little tugboat, far smaller than the grandeur of our divinity and the divinity that we're connected to, is running the show. My goal every month, and the goal of David's book and him coming to Austin, and I hope every moment of your life, is an opportunity to fire up the engines so that the tugboat is not pulling you around, but instead you are the one that's driving the ship, so that you can become the uncontested author of your life. Thank you for being here.